What if the real reason your body keeps storing fat around your belly has nothing to do with eating too much or not exercising enough, but everything to do with one tiny hormone that quietly controls whether your body burns fat or locks it away? Most of us have been taught that weight loss is just about calories in versus calories out, but that oversimplified model ignores the powerful role hormones play in regulating metabolism, hunger, and energy. There's one hormone in particular that acts like a switch. It can either tell your body, store this as fat, or burn this for fuel. That hormone is insulin. When insulin levels stay high all day long, often because of constant snacking, hidden sugars, or even stress, your body never gets the signal to release stored fat. Instead, it keeps holding on to it, especially the dangerous visceral fat around your organs. But here's the good news. Once you understand how to work with your insulin instead of against it, your body can naturally shift gears. You can actually train your metabolism to start burning fat for energy again, often while you sleep. And this doesn't require extreme fasting or restrictive diets like keto. It's about simple, science-backed changes that restore your body's natural rhythm. So today, we're going to uncover the Phi 1 insulin hack that teaches your body to turn off its fat storing mode and start melting visceral fat overnight. You'll learn how to stabilize your energy, feel satisfied after meals, and finally see the results that dieting alone couldn't deliver. Have you ever struggled with stubborn belly fat that just wouldn't budge, no matter what you tried? I'd love to know, what's been the hardest part of losing it for you? Let me know in the comments below. Insulin is often misunderstood as just a blood sugar hormone, but it's much more than that. It's your body's master energy manager, the hormone that decides whether the food you eat gets used for energy or store for later. Every time you eat, especially something containing carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises. In response, your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin's job is to escort that sugar out of your bloodstream and into your cells, where it can be used for energy or stored as glycogen in your muscles and liver. It's a beautifully efficient system when it's working as it should. But here's where things start to go wrong. In today's world, we eat more frequently than ever before. Morning coffee with sugar, a mid-morning snack lunch, a quick pick, me up in the afternoon dinner, and maybe a late-night bite. Each time, insulin rises to handle the incoming sugar. Over time, this near-constant demand means your body rarely gets a break from insulin. Your cells start to tune out the signal, a condition known as insulin resistance. When that happens, your pancreas responds by pumping out even more insulin to try to keep blood sugar in check. This chronic elevation in insulin keeps your body stuck in fat storage mode. It's like the switch for burning fat has been flipped off and storing fat is stuck in the on position. Because insulin not only manages sugar, it also directly controls fat metabolism. When insulin levels are high, your body gets the message that energy is plentiful, so it stores extra calories as fat, particularly around the belly and internal organs. That's why so many people, even those who aren't overeating, end up with stubborn visceral fat that seems impossible to lose. The problem isn't willpower, it's hormonal signaling. When insulin is elevated most of the day, your body can't access its stored fat. Even if you cut calories or exercise more, your cells still aren't allowed to release fat for energy. It's like having a fully stocked pantry, but the door is locked. You feel tired, hungry, and frustrated because your body can't efficiently use its own energy reserves. That's also why some people find themselves craving sweets or carbs even after eating. Their cells are starved for usable energy, but insulin keeps blocking access to it. On the other hand, when insulin levels naturally drop between meals, something powerful happens. Your body begins to shift from store mode to burn mode. Instead of constantly running on glucose, it starts tapping into stored fat for fuel. This metabolic flexibility, the ability to smoothly switch between burning sugar and burning fat, is what healthy metabolism looks like. And it all comes down to insulin sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity is how well your cells respond when insulin knocks on the door. In a sensitive state, it only takes a small amount of insulin to move glucose into your cells. Your blood sugar stays stable, your energy feels balanced, and your body can easily access stored fat when needed. In an insensitive, resistant state, your cells ignore that signal, forcing your body to produce more insulin, which drives more fat storage and inflammation. The key to unlocking fat loss isn't cutting out all carbs or fasting for days at a time. It's improving your insulin sensitivity. When your body becomes more responsive to insulin, it no longer needs to produce as much. Lower baseline insulin means your body finally gets the green light to release fat from storage and burn it for energy. It's not a quick fix, it's a biological reset. Improving insulin sensitivity also improves how you feel. You stop experiencing those mid-day energy crashes, your cravings start to calm down, and your mental clarity sharpens. Many people notice that when they balance their insulin, their mood stabilizes too, because blood sugar swings can trigger anxiety, irritability, or fatigue. The science behind this is simple. When your cells get steady fuel without constant spikes and crashes, your whole system feels more in balance. So the next time you think about stubborn belly fat, remember, it's not just about diet or exercise, it's about signaling. When you teach your body to listen to insulin again, it can finally flip the switch from storing fat to burning it naturally and effortlessly. Insulin resistance doesn't happen overnight. It's the gradual result of years of small, everyday habits that keep your body's energy system constantly switched on. Think of insulin like a thermostat that's supposed to regulate temperature in your house. When it works properly, it turns the heat on when things get cold and turns it off when the temperature is comfortable. But imagine if that thermostat gets stuck. It keeps blasting heat no matter how warm it gets. Eventually, your home becomes overheated, uncomfortable, and out of balance. That's exactly what happens inside your body when insulin stays elevated all the time. Let's start with the hidden triggers. One of the biggest is stress. When you're under chronic stress, whether from work pressure, lack of sleep, or emotional strain, your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol's job is to give you quick energy for a fight or flight response, but it does this by raising your blood sugar. When blood sugar rises, insulin follows. If stress happens occasionally, your body can handle it. But in today's world, many people are living in a state of constant low-grade stress. Their cortisol and insulin stay elevated day and night, and that keeps the body locked in storage mode. Poor sleep has a similar effect. Even one night of short or disrupted sleep can make your cells temporarily resistant to insulin. Your body perceives lack of sleep as a stress signal and increases hunger hormones like ghrelin while decreasing satiety hormones like leptin. That's why after a bad night's sleep, you crave sugar, caffeine, and processed carbs. Your body is trying to make up for the lost energy. Over time, these cycles of poor sleep and increased snacking drive insulin higher and higher. Processed foods make the problem worse. When you eat something highly refined, like white bread, chips, or sweetened coffee drinks, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. The pancreas responds by releasing a surge of insulin to bring it back down. But if you keep doing this meal after meal, day after day, insulin rarely has a chance to return to baseline. Constant snacking, even on healthy options like granola bars or smoothies, means insulin is almost always elevated. The result? Your body never enters a true fat-burning state. And here's the tricky part. Many popular diets actually make this problem worse, even when they seem to help at first. Crash diets that drastically cut calories or remove entire food groups can send the body into panic mode. Your metabolism slows down to conserve energy, and stress hormones rise, which in turn increases insulin levels again. It's like slamming the brakes on a moving car. Everything inside gets jolted, and the system becomes harder to control. Long fasting windows can also backfire for some people. While short, strategic fasting can improve insulin sensitivity, extended fasting, especially without proper nutrition, can stress the body. When you go too long without food, cortisol rises to keep blood sugar stable. That cortisol-driven sugar spike forces the pancreas to release more insulin later on. This is why some people who try long-term fasting end up feeling exhausted, irritable, or even gaining weight again once they start eating normally. Their bodies are stuck in a cycle of stress and rebound insulin spikes. So insulin resistance isn't just about eating too much sugar. It's the result of a system that's been pushed beyond its balance point, like a thermostat that's constantly reacting to external stressors instead of responding calmly. Your metabolism is designed to be flexible, but when stress, poor sleep, and constant eating send mixed signals all day long, the system gets confused. The fat burning mode can't turn on because insulin is always signaling that food energy is abundant, even when your body actually needs to burn its reserves. Resetting this system requires restoring that natural rhythm. It's not about punishing the body with extreme restriction. It's about helping it feel safe again. When you lower stress, improve sleep quality, and space out meals so insulin can drop between them, your cells begin to listen again. Your metabolism starts to respond with sensitivity instead of resistance. Like recalibrating that broken thermostat, the goal is to bring your internal environment back into balance, where small changes once again make a big difference. When your body trusts that energy will come consistently and safely, insulin levels stabilize naturally. You don't need to force fat loss through deprivation. Your biology takes care of it for you. The key is to stop overloading the system with mixed signals and instead give it consistency, calm, and nourishment. That's how the body shifts from storing to burning, not through struggle, but through alignment. One of the most powerful ways to retrain your metabolism and reset insulin levels doesn't involve extreme dieting or supplements. It's about timing. Your body runs on rhythms. Every hormone, including insulin, follows a natural daily pattern that's closely tied to your internal clock, also known as the circadian rhythm. When you eat in sync with this rhythm, your body processes food more efficiently, keeps insulin balanced, and burns fat more easily, even while you sleep. This rhythm-based approach has been backed by emerging research on what's called early time restricted feeding. It's a form of intermittent fasting, but not the kind that leaves you starving all day. Instead, it's about shifting as when you eat, not necessarily what you eat. For most people, this means eating your meals within an 8-10 hour window earlier in the day. For example, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. during the remaining hours, your body gets a break from digesting food, allowing insulin to drop naturally. Here's why that matters. Insulin sensitivity is highest in the morning and early afternoon, and it gradually declines as the day goes on. When you eat late at night, your body isn't as efficient at handling glucose, which leads to higher insulin spikes and more fat storage. But when you finish eating earlier in the evening, insulin has time to fall overnight, and your body starts tapping into stored fat for energy. You wake up with more stable blood sugar, steadier energy, and often less hunger. Another simple yet powerful adjustment is eating your protein first. When you start a meal with protein, like eggs, fish, chicken, or even plant-based sources such as lentils or tofu, it slows down the digestion of carbohydrates and blunts the post-meal insulin spike. Think of protein as a steadying hand that keeps blood sugar levels from swinging wildly. Studies show that eating protein before carbs can reduce glucose spikes by up to 30-40%. Over time, those smaller spikes mean lower average insulin levels and better fat metabolism. Pairing protein with fiber and healthy fats amplifies this effect. Foods like vegetables, nuts, seeds, and olive oil help slow digestion even more, keeping blood sugar stable for hours. The combination of protein, fat, and fiber signals safety to your body. You're nourished, full, and not in danger of starvation. That calm metabolic state is what allows insulin to drop between meals and fat, burning to rise. Spacing your meals matters too. Most people eat too frequently, keeping insulin elevated all day long. Even small snacks, especially those with carbs or sugar, restart the insulin response to let your body switch into fat burning mode. Aim for distinct meal times instead of constant grazing. Allow at least 3-4 hours between meals to give insulin time to fall. During that time, your body learns to rely on its own energy stores, a gentle training process that restores metabolic flexibility. This daily insulin hack isn't about restriction, it's about rhythm. When you eat in tune with your body's natural cycles, everything starts working more smoothly. Your hunger hormones regulate, your energy stabilizes, and you stop feeling the urge to snack constantly. Over time, your metabolism adapts to this pattern, becoming more efficient at using food for energy during the day and burning fat at night. You can think of it like tuning an instrument. If your eating schedule is scattered, your metabolic signals are out of sync, every hormone is playing its own note. But when you align your eating window with your body's natural insulin rhythm, everything harmonizes. The result is steady energy, easier weight control, and a calmer relationship with food. Small practical steps can make a big difference. Try starting your day with a protein-rich breakfast instead of skipping it. Finish your last meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bed to give insulin time to fall. Focus on real, whole foods that nourish rather than spike your system. You don't need to count calories. Just create consistency. When you build your meals and you're timing around insulin's natural rhythm, you're not fighting against your biology. You're working with it. Your body learns to burn fat steadily 24/7, not through willpower, but through alignment. This is the gentle, science-backed way to reset your metabolism and finally get your body to do what it was designed to do, use energy efficiently and keep you balanced. Most people think of fat gain as something that happens purely from overeating, but the truth is far more complex. Your body's stress response plays a huge role, especially when it comes to stubborn belly fat. The hormone cortisol, often called the stress hormone, was designed to help us survive short-term challenges. When you face a threat, your body releases cortisol to give you quick energy, sharpen focus, and keep you alert. But when that stress becomes constant, from work, relationships, lack of sleep, or even internal pressure to lose weight, cortisol stays elevated. And that's when it starts to interact with insulin in ways that keep your body locked in fat storing mode. Cortisol and insulin are like partners in a feedback loop. When cortisol rises, it signals the body to release glucose into the bloodstream to prepare for action. Insulin then rushes in to move that glucose into cells. In a healthy, short-term stress response, everything balances out again once the stress passes. But when stress doesn't stop, when your body feels under constant threat, insulin and cortisol both remain elevated. This chronic combination tells your body to store more fat, particularly around the abdomen and internal organs. Visceral fat, the type that wraps around your organs, isn't just stored energy, it's metabolically active tissue that releases inflammatory signals. These signals, in turn, make your cells even more resistant to insulin, creating a vicious cycle. The more stressed you are, the higher your cortisol, the more insulin resistance develops, and the more resistant you become, the harder it is to burn fat, even if you're eating well and exercising. Cortisol also affects behavior. When you're stressed, your brain craves quick comfort. High cortisol can trigger emotional eating, especially for high carb or sugary foods, because those foods momentarily reduce stress hormones and release serotonin and dopamine, giving you a brief sense of relief. Unfortunately, that relief is short-lived. The resulting blood sugar spike leads to another insulin surge, which later crashes, leaving you tired, hungry, and often feeling guilty. That emotional roller coaster keeps the cortisol-insulin loop spinning. You can think of it like your body being stuck with the accelerator pressed down. The stress hormones keep pushing for quick fuel, and insulin keeps storing that fuel instead of burning it. Over time, this constant state of internal tension makes it nearly impossible for your body to shift into a calm, fat-burning mode. The solution isn't about cutting more calories, it's about teaching your body how to relax. When cortisol comes down, insulin follows. Simple, consistent practices can have a huge impact on this balance. One of the easiest is mindful breathing. Taking just a few slow, deep breaths activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for rest, digestion, and recovery. This signals safety to your brain and lowers cortisol almost immediately. A few minutes of slow breathing before or after meals helps your body digest more efficiently and reduces post-meal insulin spikes. It's like pressing the reset button for your nervous system. Another powerful yet underrated habit is walking after meals. Even a short 10-minute walk helps move glucose into your muscles without needing as much insulin. It's gentle movement that tells your body, we're safe, we're active, and we don't need to store this energy. Studies show that post-meal walks can reduce blood sugar and insulin levels as effectively as some medications. Combined with better stress management, it's a simple tool for rebalancing the body's chemistry naturally. Restorative activities like yoga, stretching, or journaling also help break the cortisol-insulin cycle. The key is consistency, not intensity. The body doesn't respond to extreme fixes. It responds to signals of calm and safety repeated over time. That's why trying to force fat loss through strict dieting often backfires. The psychological stress keeps cortisol high, undoing the progress you're trying to make. Learning to manage stress isn't just good for your mind, it's essential for your metabolism. When you create space in your day to breathe, move gently, and unwind, you're teaching your hormones to trust that they don't have to stay in survival mode. As cortisol levels drop, insulin sensitivity improves naturally. Your body can then shift from storing fat to burning it efficiently again. Balancing these two hormones isn't about control, it's about cooperation. When cortisol and insulin are in sync, your energy feels stable, cravings diminish, and fat loss happens as a byproduct of harmony, not force. Your body was never designed to thrive in a constant state of alarm. It was designed to cycle between stress and recovery. When you start honoring that rhythm, your metabolism finally gets permission to heal. When most people think about insulin, they think about fat loss or blood sugar. But insulin balance goes far beyond that. It directly affects how you think, feel, and function every single day. Your brain, just like your muscles, depends on a steady supply of energy to stay sharp and calm. When insulin is stable, that energy flows smoothly. When it swings up and down, your mental and emotional state rides those same waves. That's why balanced insulin is not just about metabolism, it's about clarity, focus, and emotional stability. Every time you eat, insulin helps your cells absorb glucose, which your brain uses as its primary fuel. When insulin and blood sugar rise gently after a meal and then return to normal, your brain receives a consistent flow of energy, you feel alert, stable, and focused. But when you eat in a way that spikes blood sugar, say a sweet breakfast or a refined carb snack, insulin rushes in to bring those levels down. Often it overcorrects, leading to a dip in blood sugar a few hours later. That crash can make you feel tired, irritable, anxious, or foggy. It's not that you suddenly lost motivation or discipline. It's that your brain is running low on fuel because your blood sugar just dropped too quickly. This constant up and down pattern of glucose and insulin is exhausting for both your body and mind. Over time, your energy becomes unstable, your mood unpredictable, and your focus fragmented. Many people describe this as brain fog, difficulty concentrating, forgetfulness, or feeling mentally sluggish. The good news is that stabilizing insulin smooths all of this out. When your blood sugar rises and falls gently instead of spiking and crashing, your brain stays fueled in a steady, predictable way. Stable insulin levels also reduce inflammation in the brain. Chronic high insulin can trigger inflammatory processes that interfere with neurotransmitter balance, particularly serotonin and dopamine, the chemicals that regulate mood, motivation, and satisfaction. That's one reason why people with insulin resistance often experience symptoms of fatigue, low mood, or even anxiety. It's not just a mental issue, it's biochemical. When you stabilize insulin, those neurotransmitters begin to normalize, and your emotional resilience improves. There's also a deep connection between insulin and the stress system. When blood sugar crashes, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline to quickly raise it again. This creates the same shaky, anxious feeling you might get from too much caffeine or stress. Over time, these hormonal surges can make you feel like you're constantly on edge. By keeping insulin balanced, you reduce those stress responses, and your body learns to stay calm and focused even when challenges arise. Simple daily rituals can make a huge difference in maintaining that balance. One of the most powerful is staying hydrated. Even mild dehydration can raise cortisol and make blood sugar regulation harder. Start your day with a glass of water before your first cup of coffee and keep sipping throughout the day. Adding a pinch of sea salt or electrolytes can also help if you're active or tend to sweat a lot. Movement is another key. You don't have to do intense workouts to improve insulin sensitivity. In fact, short, frequent movement is often more effective. A brisk 10-minute walk after meals helps your muscles absorb glucose, keeping blood sugar from spiking. Light stretching or even standing and moving around for a few minutes each hour trains your body to handle glucose efficiently. The more often you move, the more responsive your cells become to insulin. Nutrient timing also plays a role. Starting your day with a balanced breakfast that includes protein, healthy fat, and fiber sets the tone for stable energy. This combination slows digestion, providing a gradual release of glucose instead of a spike. Throughout the day, try to space your meals about 4 hours apart, giving insulin time to return to baseline. Eating too often, even small snacks, can keep insulin elevated and prevent your body from fully entering fat burning mode between meals. You can also use small habits to support your brain directly. Instead of reaching for sugar or caffeine when energy dips, try stepping outside for sunlight or doing a few slow, deep breaths. Sunlight helps regulate circadian rhythms, which improves both mood and metabolism. Breathing exercises calm the nervous system, lower cortisol, and allow insulin to stabilize naturally. When you start balancing insulin consistently, you'll notice the difference not just on the scale, but in how you feel. Your thoughts become clearer, your focus sharper, and your mood steadier. You stop feeling like your energy is constantly crashing, and instead, you move through the day with a grounded, steady sense of control. Balanced insulin isn't just a physical reset, it's a mental one. It brings your body and brain back into the same rhythm, where energy flows smoothly and your mood follows suit. When people finally understand how insulin works, it's like flipping on a light switch. Everything about metabolism starts to make sense. The truth is, Mastering insulin isn't about finding a quick fix or following a temporary diet. It's about retraining your metabolism to work the way it was always meant to. When you teach your body to become sensitive to insulin again, you're not just burning fat, you're restoring balance to your entire system. This process doesn't require perfection, only consistency. Small, repeated habits signal safety to your body, and when your body feels safe, it begins to release what it's been holding on to: stress, inflammation, and stored fat. Your metabolism isn't broken, it's adaptive. It's been protecting you, responding to years of mixed messages, skipped meals, late night snacking, emotional stress, and constant pressure. Every time insulin stayed high, your body learned, food is always coming, so I'll store more for later. The beautiful thing is, you can teach it a new pattern. You can show your body that it's okay to use stored energy again. This happens through rhythm, nourishment, and gentle movement, not restriction or punishment. One of the most effective ways to keep insulin balanced long-term is to eat mostly whole, unprocessed foods. Real food digests more slowly, releases energy gradually, and provides the nutrients your cells need to stay responsive to insulin. Think of colorful vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and slow digesting carbs like oats or quinoa. These foods send steady signals to your hormones, helping them regulate naturally. When your meals are built around these simple foundations, your insulin levels stabilize without effort. Gentle, consistent movement is another key. You don't need hours in the gym. Your muscles are one of the biggest consumers of glucose in your body. Every time you move, walk, or lift something, your muscles help clear glucose from your bloodstream, lowering insulin naturally. The more regularly you move, the more insulin sensitive your cells become. It's like training your body to recognize insulin's message again. Even small actions, a morning stretch, a short walk after meals, standing instead of sitting, compound over time. Each movement tells your body, we're active, we're using energy, and we don't need to store it as fat. The same principle applies to stress and sleep. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which in turn raises insulin. Quality sleep, on the other hand, lowers both. Creating a simple evening routine, dimming lights, avoiding screens, maybe journaling or doing a few deep breaths, helps your body wind down and reset its hormones overnight. When you sleep well, insulin sensitivity improves, cravings lessen, and your body naturally burns more fat at rest. Over time, these habits start to rewire your metabolism. Your body learns to handle energy more efficiently, switching between burning carbs and fat with ease. This flexibility is what true metabolic health looks like: the ability to adapt. It's not about constantly being in fat-burning mode, but about allowing your body to use whatever fuel is available without chaos or stress. When you create a stable environment through balanced meals, consistent movement, calm routines, and restorative sleep, your hormones align effortlessly. Many people feel relief when they realize they don't have to fight their body anymore. You don't have to force weight loss through restriction, deprivation, or endless willpower. Your body isn't the enemy. It's been trying to protect you. When you start working with your hormones instead of against them, everything shifts. Hunger becomes manageable, energy stabilizes, and fat loss becomes a natural outcome of balance, not struggle. The beauty of this approach is its sustainability. You're not chasing short-term results or relying on complicated rules. You're building a lifestyle that supports your body's natural design. Once insulin sensitivity improves, it becomes easier to maintain because your body prefers this state. It feels good when energy flows steadily, when your mood is calm, and when your metabolism runs smoothly. That's why people who focus on hormone balance often describe their transformation not just as physical, but emotional. They feel lighter, clearer, and more at peace with their bodies. This isn't about willpower or discipline, it's about partnership. Your body wants to heal and function efficiently, it just needs the right signals. Every balanced meal, every mindful breath, every night of good sleep teaches it something new. Over time, those signals become your body's default setting: calm, capable, and efficient at burning fat. You don't have to chase results. Your body already knows the way when you work in harmony with it. And when you finally reach that point of trust with your metabolism, you realize that real transformation was never about control, it was about alignment.